Hello everybody, welcome to Indigo Tarot Odyssey. I thought I would start a little early and do what can I expect in February. So this will be like a love forecast for February, a career peek in that window, family, just sort of what you can expect that's coming your way. And I thought I would start out, and it's going to be a 4-card pick with the beautiful Lucy, this is Lucy Cavendish, sorry, Blessed Be, and these are beautiful mystical Celtic blessing cards. So I want you to choose either from the phrase or the picture that sort of gets your attention. So the first one is a blessing for the right words, is number 1. Number 2 is a blessing for solace and hope. I love the imagery in that. A blessing for peace of mind. That's always nice. A blessing on your boundaries. So if any of these things are sort of culminating around in your brain and you're wondering what's going around, I don't know if it's culminating or ruminating. I think it's more ruminating around in your brain. Yeah, culmination is the ending of something. Okay, so let's see, we have your choice of 4 cards, so I'll let you have a look at that. This is my favorite. You ever just have a thing where you're at an impasse with somebody and just the perfect phrase or words just sort of tie it all up beautifully? That's why I think words were always so important to me. Ever since I was young, I was like, you know, with all my older brothers, and there'd be conflict and craziness and all this stuff and miscommunication. So it was very important for me to be able to decipher the meanings of what people thought in arguments, at times of peace, whatever. And at first I thought I was definitely going to be a mediator in businesses and stuff, because I love to see things from all different sides and come to a favorable conclusion for everybody. Like, I would love that. So I love that particular one. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'll let you pick. And what is coming for you in February? And then as I read, I will do the Celtic blessing first, and then I will pull your card. So we're going to start with number 1, which is a blessing for the right words. And sometimes that's so nice for children too, because I used to babysit and they would ask me the craziest things like, Melanie, what do clouds taste like? Melanie, just like the craziest things. And I would make up stuff right along if I felt like all fairy, hairy, crazy, you know what I mean? And then sometimes I wanted to know that too, and I was like, I don't know. And mostly it was like, not so much how things worked, but it was more like in the creative, out there in outer space things. Like kids are, there's no restrictions on what they think, because there's no boundaries that are set saying you can't ask questions about that. That's not a reality. That's not this and that. But they have that beautiful thing that that reality structure versus that putting your head through that window where anything's possible. And once you put your head through that window again, there's no rules because there's no risks. They don't think in terms of that, you know what I mean? And when you live like that, it's pretty beautiful, because you just go out, get, achieve, and do, and you don't have worry, you don't have fear. You're just like, everything is possible, right? When you're a kid, oh yeah, for sure. So let's see what a blessing for the right words is about. A blessing for apt speech, to call to your lips the right words that speak simply and clearly and find their mark. May the words that fall from your lips be blessed, friend. In times when we must speak of difficult things, it can be a great challenge to conjure up the words that best express our feelings and intent without causing offense or harm to another. We struggle sometimes with this balance, and in doing so, our words may be watered down or lost in the desire to appease, in the wish to do no harm. But with the blessing, there will be words that come to find you without effort. The words alight by the fires of inspiration, and they will flow from your mind to your mouth and be heard fully and fairly. May you be blessed this day with the speech of good sense, the conversation that clears and clarifies, and most of all, the words that will be heard by those who need to understand and listen. That's beautiful, right? Yeah. So luckily, most of the time that does happen. It's when we slow down, we breathe, we get some clarification on our emotions, and then we think logically. That's when the right words come to us, right? if we ever try too hard, that's the time where it's very easy to freeze up, because we are, I do that when I try to think of actors and actresses all the time, because I feel like there's a time frame, like I have to hurry and know it. And I'm like, who really cares? You know what I mean? That's why when you don't really care about the outcome and you have that beautiful energy of a child, again, with the head through the window where there's no rules, there's no risk. So nobody's going to be judging you. And that's part of it too. When you're a child, no one says that's ridiculous or that's dumb most of the time, or at least they shouldn't, you know what I mean? Because you're allowed in your youthful majesty to just say and do most things, because you are in that beautiful, creative, safe space where you can just color outside the lines and nobody really gives a flying crap. It's later when you hear from teachers and religious groups and other things like that that you feel like there's restrictions on you, and there should never be. Like, I took those off quite some time ago when I realized I don't care, I don't judge others, so if they judge me, that's their deal. Who gives a flying crap? I don't have enough hours in the day to sit around judging people, and I feel like live and let live, you know what I mean? Let everybody be who they truly are. So let's see what the energy is. Wow, beautiful Knight of Wands. That's lovely. So I feel like some passionate love, little overthinking going on in February, but that, whoop, cool. And then some clarity. I love this a lot. So I feel like this happens in February, and you know what I call this? I call this the trench of Valentine's Day. It's when everybody's hoping and for this grandiose gesture, and they overdo it, and they sort of landlock themselves, and they build blockades because they're like, oh, if I don't get proposed to on Valentine's Day, or I don't have a date on Valentine's Day, or this and that, they think it's the end of the world, but it's not, because look what you're surrounded by right here. You're in the month, you have a passionate, gallant gentleman coming your way. Somebody who really is, I feel like they're courageous in their soul. Like they're just that person that they have a lot of, you know, again, I always picture like Russell Brand, that lovely energy, and they're funny, and they're a little manic, and they're really cool, and they're really together and artsy creative, and they just say what they mean, and they're not, they don't have any kind of restrictions on themselves, societal or otherwise, because they don't really care what other people think, and that's nice. There's a lovely freedom in that, right? To just do what you want. And also right here, we have to remember that we can absolutely be a prisoner to our own thoughts if we don't relax and just chill out and get in that headspace where we're relaxed and we can do whatever we want, really, you know what I mean, within restrictions and stuff. We don't have to put all these I don't know, conditions on ourselves. Well, we can do this, but only if we do this. We can have this, but only if this is happening. It's all these silly things that were taught to us in the past that we think are true, but they're not. They're just conditions from, again, churches, our school, all those things, and they're just not true. So you're going to come through this with lovely balance. And I have a really fun thing that I want to do today too. If you haven't watched any of my other videos, the dailies, I got these new wonderful Chinese oracle cards. So I'm just going to read you the energy from one of them. I'm going to choose the artwork is unbelievable. So it doesn't necessarily have to be your zodiac sign, but it can be discussing the energy of. And this is going to be the, look at the artwork of this. It's beautiful. But again, I just want to add for your other little bit of thing. This is you just charging headlong with the energy of the universe and the gift of super clear thought, a lot of clarity of where you're going, what you want to accomplish. In terms of work, this is going to be a fantastic month for you, because you just know. You're like, okay, we got this to do. Blah, 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 blah. You're almost on autopilot. It's almost so easy for you, you can't even believe it. It's like da 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 da. You know, I got this. You're able to multitask. You're just cutting a beautiful swathe through any problems, and you're like a shining star at work for sure too. So I love that. Yeah, on the love and passion front and work front, beautiful. I'm really, really excited for that. Okay, so let's see what's going on. This is the pig. Let me see what that has to say. I love too, I was always fascinated with Chinese zodiacs, because when I was younger and you'd go into a Chinese restaurant, they would have a mat there with them. So that was like my first introduction, being really young and reading about Chinese zodiac. And I was like, wow, look at this. And it's so funny because I'm right back in that restaurant with my family reading it. It's so, so funny. So the pig is about forthright, naive, optimistic, and kind behaviors. You're easily contented, you're straightforward, you're easygoing, you're very happy-go-lucky. The description is, without any goal or plan, the pig can travel with the snail fairy, stopping and starting, making the best things. Despite that the dense misty fog makes the distant blurred, as long as there is sunshine, the pig can find beauty around him. The positive meanings are optimistic, simple, living in the moment, and generous, letting nature take its course, forgiving and being direct, believing that everything happens for the best. That's beautiful, isn't it? Yeah, like look at his face. He's just like, yay, let's just go around. He's got the snail fair and he's like, let's get some truffles and hang out. Again, when we look into the future with optimism, we believe in the best. That's often what comes our way. You know, it's that old Albert Einstein adage that when you see the world as a fearful, harsh, and cruel place, that's what you'll get. But when you see it as a caring, loving place, that's what you'll get. And that's that beautiful energy in that. So if you're new to the channel, don't forget to press like and subscribe. And I have a lot of people that say too, Melanie, can I choose more than one? And I actually recommend that you watch all of them and you just take what applies to you, because some people are like, oh, I chose these two. And you will have, because, you know, we're so multifaceted and we have so many different energies all the time around us. Sometimes it's a bit from one, it's a bit from two, and it's all over. So I always watch all of them in picker cards, because I believe if I'm already watching the video for a reason, I might as well get the full scope. So if you're new to the channel, welcome, and don't forget to press like and subscribe. And then there's a little bell there, notification bell, so you'll know when all the new videos come in. The little gray area will bring you to all my links down below the Patreon page. Thank you, patrons, for help support the channel. Go check that out. All my private read stuff, my Instantgo, my Etsy store that I do all these rings are on there, and I make natural stone jewelry. And I'm also, if you go on Instagram, which is Sparkrist11. It has, like, I do all the fun things on properties and stones and crystals, and I have an open thing where people can ask me on that. It's really, really fun. And right now, too, go to the link as well and go check out the new Goddess Provision box. I just became an ambassador for the brand. Although I'm not paid, I do get a small percentage of the sales that are bought from my link to help support the channel as well. Super quality, cool stuff. I mean, amazing things. You get oracle cards, you get candles, crystals, aromathy, beautiful, beautiful, high quality stuff. I really, really researched them and went through all their everything in the box and the quality of it, and I'm very, very impressed. And then I was like, yeah, I'll definitely, I have an unboxing if you guys want to check it out. The Divine Union Headed Towards You video that I did a couple days ago, there's an unboxing at the end of that if you want to check it out, because it's really, really fun. But again, yeah, optimism and sun, go for it, because it's really, really chugging along nicely for you guys. I really like that. So that's you guys. Okay, so now we're on to number 2, which is a blessing for hope. Let's see what that has to say. I really, when I first read something from this, I started to laugh because it was a, only this particular one was almost like in Old English. It was so funny. I was reading it, and I can't see the number on this from where it is, 41. I was like, my brain was playing tricks on me, because I was like, it's like ye Old English, but all of them aren't like that, but every once in a while one is, so it was pretty funny. Okay, so a blessing for solace and hope. This is a blessing for solace, the comfort that comes in the form of good fortune, strange little moments that bring you back to the sense that the universe is a place where you are cared for, considered important, and that is the solace that it brings you for the hope and future to anticipate the fair things in life that will be continued to be brought to you. That's lovely. Yeah, sometimes when we just have that optimism that what is meant for us will come to us and it won't pass us by. It's a lovely sense of relief, right? Where we don't always have to chase and try so hard, that sometimes things are just brought to our doorstep because we're deserving of them and we've put in the prior work. We've already established it's something that we would like, and we're living our lives in a fair and honest and upbeat way. So we're just then in that lovely yin receivership energy, which is beautiful. So let's see what that has to say underneath. Solace is a balm and an antidote to the wounds that life can deliver. It's not personal. For being here is a great gift, and we live in times where in many ways we are safer than we have ever been before. But we are fed a diet of hopelessness from our cultures and our media sources until we become overwhelmed with the troubles that seem to be surrounding us. This is a blessing for you to find your way back to sweetness, for the flower and the bud to release its sweetness, for you to notice the shimmer of light upon the water, the sheer pleasure of movement, the ease of mind no longer racing over problems to be solved, but soft intelligence, allowing the calm of life to steal back into your soul. And this is true. This is something that I actually took notice of this morning. As soon as I woke up and I had my coffee, I almost immediately started to multitask, and I made myself put devices down, and I said, listen, you want to listen to this particular speaker. They're excellent. You really love every word that comes out of their mouth, and you want to have a deeper understanding. And a lot of times I have to turn around and know the essence of what they're teaching, because I turn around and teach it myself a short while later. So when I'm learning in that capacity, I have a lovely, easeful morning when I do one thing at a time. But I'm so conditioned by like society to be multitasking, like I always had to in most of my jobs, that I'm like, well, I can't just simply sit and watch and learn something. I have to be answering emails. I have to be sorting, building, doing something. And I'm like, no, you don't. In fact, you feel rushed, harried, and you don't absorb the information you should the way you should when you're trying to multitask. And this again is about a simpler way, you know, of just looking at a stream, just being, being out in nature, standing, going for a simple walk where you're not on your phone, you're not on devices, right? It's definitely 100% about simplifying. So let's see also what is going to come in for you guys. Yeah, I love that. And solace, just sometimes the easiest way to reach out for that is going like on any kind of site that has really cool affirmations, and also going on YouTube. I love to go on to anything that has like cool affirmations. Or I used to love like little cat videos and things like that were fun and simple and you know, would just make me laugh and bring up my energy. Oh, that's lovely, the Hierophant. So you're gonna get some lovely answers. And let me see, Page of Cups. Yeah, some energy of a message coming in too. I feel like pages are a little bit slower, of course, than Knights or anything else. Oh, lovely, lovely. Wow, so you guys are going to be doing well in February for your finances. And this is actually going to be, I always feel like the aces are a little bit of gift from our intuitive self, connected in with our guides and our spirit team, and also gifts from the universe, where it's that aha moment where you don't have to struggle to find the answers, the words, the resolutions or anything. They just start to come to you because you're in a much more free-flowing spot because of this. The Hierophant is always the one with the keys, and you're realizing, wow, I have the keys to my own happiness by providing myself with a simpler life. I don't need so many people, places, and things all the time. I need to just simplify, slow down, reconnect with nature, ground, do some lovely affirmations that bring my spirit up and my heart up, and help me with connectivity with others. And you're definitely going to tap into that, which is going to be really nice. And it's going to provide you with like this graciousness where people are speaking to you and you're not making excuses that you have to get away, hurry, or you're not looking at your device, because you're like, what do you need to get away from a pleasant interaction for? To what? Race into traffic, to race into... We're so busy being busy that we're not even living anymore. So this is the realization of that. And then when you finally slow down and you're becoming your true balanced self, you have the Page of Cups, which is a lovely message of an offer coming in, an offer, an opportunity. I feel like this is an opportunity to meet some really cool people, new people in your tribe, perhaps people that have the same interest that you'd really gel with and could have a potential love match there as well. But it's not fast and furious. The page is always a little bit slower, a little more dreamy energy. It's not rushed, because now you're realizing that's the least of what you want to do. You had enough of that over Christmas and New Year's, of hurrying with your churches, with your singing, with your whatever, all these extracurriculars and your side hustles, that you realize that's not what it's about, going so quickly. It's about really, really absorbing all the beauty that's around you, all the cool people and all that. And this is about just having really apt skills that you can put into play that you didn't even know you had. When you relax and you become restful, you realize you open that window to infinite possibilities of skill sets you didn't even really know you have, because you're highly intuitive at this time, and you're like, wow, I could fix that. I feel like a lot of you are going to realize you can read manuals and fix and build things from that. And you're also gonna have these things that turn into money making opportunities, that you have skill sets where you can either people want you to endorse their products, and or you're really good in I feel like a lot of these people, it's helping other people along too, to realize their dreams and goals too. A lot of you people are perhaps life coaches and things like that, where you're just receiving messages and you're being able to convey them to large groups or singular groups so they can make progress in their life, because a lot of people hit obstacles. And I feel like January is like the freedom month, right? And February is the month, and it's the idea month, and you're trying to reevaluate things, and your fresh starts. And January is a one, and you're like new. It is now a new year, and I'm going to hit the refresh button. Lots of new beginnings. I have fresh emotional landscape to work with. You're receiving a lot of healing comfort. And February, that's when you put these things into action. You realize you have momentum behind them, and you have the benefit of your own doubt that you can do these things, because you're already seeing the small accomplishments. And that's what it's about, those small steps that lead to great rewards, right? And you're starting to see that. So that's fantastic. I love that energy. So I'm also going to pull you guys a zodiac and see what that's about in your card. I love the artwork in this. Saw these months and months and months ago, and then Ian actually ordered them, he said, in October, and they just came in. So they're quite amazing, and I like just the simplicity of them. They just have a few words that pertain to characteristics, and whether this is your Chinese zodiac or not, it can just be some characteristics that'll come into play for you right there. And I love that, because I'm actually the rooster, and I like some of the attributes of rooster, and I think they're really funny. But the artwork in this is just stunning. I mean, look at the concept of that she just sort of has, the structure around her. It's so beautiful. Look at that. It's almost like ivory or something, carved ivory. It's so, so beautiful. So let's see what the monkey energy is about. The moon waxes only to wane, water brims only to overflow. The keywords in this is unrestrained, lively, and active, pursuing freshness. Absolutely, yep. That's the ace, all new, freshness, and going about it in a wise and balanced manner as well when you have the Hierophant there, right? The description is the dexterous monkey has a free soul. He likes to climb high to overlook the distance, imagining he's the master of his world, and he can run freely and unrestrained. The fairy is decorated with jade to remind the monkey not to be complacent or wildly arrogant, because the jade is short of full. I don't know what that really means, short of full. The jade is short of full. That's a odd phraseology. It might have said maybe short to fall in a misprint, but I'm going to look up that phrase and see what that could mean. The jade is short of full. Huh. It could have to do with the carvings. The positive meanings are smart, energetic, cheerful, and optimistic. And the active meanings are being adaptable, responding rapidly, and compete actively. You are stronger than the problems and trust your own strength. That's beautiful. So that's wonderful energy for you guys. I love that a lot. Yeah, always trust yourself and your energy and how you feel, and realize if it's not great, that everything's temporary, and that new healthy flow will come back in, especially with the aces of pentacles helping you out. So that's you guys. If you're new, welcome to the channel, and don't forget to press like and subscribe, and all my links are down below if you want private reads, or if you want to check out my Patreon page. Thank you, patrons, for supporting. That helps support the channel and keep us running. And also my Etsy links are down there for my Etsy store. I do all natural stones, and I have all the fun rings and stuff you guys see down there. And just recently too, my I think my last video that I had an unboxing. It's the Divine Unions Headed Towards You video, and then on the bottom there was a link to this, which is on the Goddess Provisions, which I just became an ambassador for. I'm not paid by them, but I do get a percentage for every box that's sold off my link, which is down below. So if you want to check them out, they have beautiful quality, everything, all their aromathy things and candles and room sprays, and you get a beautiful cluster of crystals. And one of my favorite thing was it was a full oracle deck for abundance and wealth. I was really appreciative of what they send in these things. So I was like, absolutely, this is a quality. This is definitely something that would be worth telling my viewers about, because I'm really impressed with what they do. So I like that tail right there too, so that's always nice. So that's you guys. Thank you very, very much, and feel welcome to watch the rest of the video too, because there might be stuff that pertains to you right now that you know, you're not even aware of, and then sometimes when it's pointed out, you're like, yeah, that is something that's happening, you know, whether it's a method that you're implementing in your life or something that's just actually happening around you. Because again, we're trying to remember that things don't happen to us, they're simply going on around us, and we can choose to participate or not with that. So this is a blessing for peace of mind, and we'll see what that is say. I love the Celtic symbols up in the corners too. These cards are just really well done, and they're so beautiful. I adore them. So 32. And just one or two of them are done in like Old English, and they're funny. I just started to read one, and I'm like, this terminology is really bizarre. And then I was like, oh, okay. So this is a blessing to help soothe the mind at storm with itself and bring about calm and peace once again. When you awaken and trouble is sitting there with you right on your shoulder, speaking to you of all you must fret about and be fearful of, let this blessing come to you. It can be felt truly in your mind where the turbulence has reigned for too long now. Let the quiet of the natural day steal in. Let the soft call of your spirit whisper to you that you have worried too long and that it's time to set down your burden, and let the angels of the spirit beings deal with what cannot be unraveled by the labyrinth of thought, right? Again, those are swords moment where we just think, and where does it really get us? It's quite exasperating, right? Because we never, when we play something over and over and over, our thought, very rarely is it joyful. It's usually fretful, right? So we do need to release those for sure. So what's the other part of that? It is for you now to care for you. Let peace, hold on, I gotta change the page. Oh, I love this blessing. I'm going to read this all the time, because every once in a while I'll build some false schedule in my mind and think I have to complete it, and then I'll get like stressed about it for no reason. So that the quiet blessing softly will take up residence in your mind and speak calming words to you, soothing every objection of your mind at war with the world it's creating. Let the nurturing of the mother of the planet herself, who loves you and cares for you so much, take hold and take root within your mind. Let yourself do only what must be done this day, and be very kind and gentle all this time with yourself. I love that. Oh, nice. This is going to correspond beautifully with that. Yeah, so peace of mind that's mostly what I go to my spirit team for, and Archangel Michael. I'm like, please restore my peace of mind, because what happens is our thoughts will just avalanche, right? We'll go, well, if I do this, not, and that, and that, and especially if it's anything that's a concern. A concern can quickly turn to fear, can turn to panic, can be ridiculous. So don't even go down that road. Just shut that faucet off as soon as it starts, and remember, and ask for a blessing for your peace of mind, and just to restore. And you can do a restart button very, very quickly. Classical music, closing your eyes, actually putting your hand over your eyes, both hands over your eyes, then both hands over your ears, and just covering them for that moment. It just sort of grounds you out, and it slows down those senses, and it can restart everything, right? Very, very nice energy for you guys here with the Star, the Three of Cups, and the Queen of Swords is beautiful. So you have your wish card. You have your great sense of community and balance with friends and family. And Queen of Swords, you have very clear and concise thoughts that are going to get you to where you want to go quickly, easily, and analytically, without having to have too much emotion involved, which can tangle you up, right? So it's just lifting any of those burdens, because you're realizing logically that lots of times our heart and our emotions can tell us untruths, and then that starts to like weave itself into our story, and it has nothing to do with reality whatsoever. And the Queen of Swords can decipher and differentiate that very quickly and remove it from your thought processes, which is really nice. And the Star, beginning with that, you're going to have that lovely light energy again of everything's attainable, achievable, and beautiful opportunities are coming your way, and they're very easily recognized by you, because you're a really light mind and heart at this time. And that's what leads you to these beautiful Three of Cups moments too, where you really want to reconnect with your friends and family and do things that are fun and meaningful. You don't want to spend money on things. You want to spend it on events together, lovely dinners, going on outings, going to museums, going to see films, together and spending time together and experiencing each other. And that's a great, great time of year in February to do that, because it's cold and sometimes people get a little bit of seasonal affection disorder where they start to feel unwell or a little isolated or lonely. So by reconnecting with friends and family, you have these beautiful moments. They're restorative, they're lovely, calming, and connective. And you're able to come to that conclusion very quickly and really realize that. And this is also a great card to have in business, because that means, again, you're very concise in your dealing with people and you're very upright, forthright, and you get to conclusions easily. You're able to do things smoothly without being rattled, and bring those contracts in and get those things done. Again, creating abundance and money, which is really, really easy for you this month. You know what I mean? You're weaving that everything into gold. You're like, I got this. It's simple. So let's see what your beautiful Chinese oracles are all about. This is by Paulo Barbary, and I don't know how easy it is to get a hold of these. We put in our order in October and just got them. So this is actually my Chinese zodiac. It doesn't have to be your zodiac. It's just sort of the energy that is coming around. I love the artwork in this. I remember just seeing it on Pinterest or something and then going, well, where did this come from? And boom, we found out. And good thing we put our order in, because it took a little while. So rooster is: only I can wake up the sun. Responsible, diligent, punctual, loving and being concerned at good communication. That is definitely a stalwart avenue that I go down. I like clear communication. And it's funny because I deal with people sometimes from all over the world, and my other jobs too. They were island people, Spanish people all over, and lots of times they would only say half the things in English, and it would be, but I would still know what people were saying because I could round out what we were doing, what the instance was of what they were trying to communicate. So it wasn't even like a language barrier. It didn't even matter at that point. So people can communicate without words. If you know, you're aware of what their needs are, then you pretty much know what they're talking about, and you can use gestures and all sorts of things to do that. So the description is: with the crowing of the rooster, the sun rises slowly, and the golden morning glow spreads over the rooster and the fairy, which become their most gorgeous clothes. Every day they wait for this moment, filled with pride, as though it were their mission. The positive meanings are stable, daring to express opinions, and self-confident. Active meanings are in-depth exploration, being responsible, and speaking out. Use interpersonal relationships to solve problems. That's very beautiful, right? Yeah, definitely. And I do feel like a lot of roosters are confident. But I feel like everybody can be confident if you live your life where you're just being honest, upright, and you think of the collective and you think of others. You become more brave, because you'll find out that you will say things for and stand up for people that you might not necessarily for yourself. But then you realize when you incorporate yourself into that collective, you're just as important as the rest of them. So when you see any injustice or something, you're going to speak up. You refuse to be a doormat. You're really making big strides in that, helping others, working for the underdog, thinking as a collective, how do things benefit the group, the community, your state, your country, things on that level. So that's beautiful for you guys. I love that energy. So thank you guys for watching. If you're new, don't forget to press like and subscribe, and also the notification bell so you know when all the new videos come up. Also, the little gray arrow on the bottom right will bring you to all the links down below to my private reads, to Instantgo, which is really, really fun. You can get your answers within an hour or two. I love doing that. That's really, really fun. If you're going on a date or going to a job interview, it's really helpful. And also my Instagram is sparkrist11. Come check us out. I run contests and it's so fun. And I do little daily stuff with oracles, and post my new jewelry from my Etsy store. We have a really good time over there, so come check us out. Also, you'll see a link down below there too for Goddess Provisions, and that's this company right here. I just became an ambassador for them. Although they don't pay me, I get a percentage if you click on their link and you actually purchase from that link, and that helps run the channel and support the channel. So go check it out. I did an unboxing on my last big video. It wasn't under a daily, it was under Divine Unions Headed Your Way, if you want to see the unboxing. But it's really great. There's a descriptive card too that says everything you get in the box, from your beautiful crystals and your oracle cards, and everything that come in the box is really, really cool, substantial box for its money. It's really beautiful. So I'm happy to be doing that. Aren't these something? Please comment on these and tell me what you think. I put these up on Instagram and everybody's like, oh, because I said, if you guys want to tell me what your sign is, I'll do one. And like right away, everybody's like, oh, do this and that and that, because the artwork is sublime. The meanings that come out and the characteristics that apply to them are very succinct and really, really cool. Yeah, this deck is really something else I'm very, very excited about. So that's you guys. Remember, always ask for a blessing for a peace of mind, and say, a peace of mind is 1 second away. It's just you closing your eyes and deciding to let go of any fear or animosity or whatever is bothering you, okay? So now we're into a blessing on your boundaries. This can stop future problems in its tracks. Once we have set our boundaries and we let people know what we're going to find, acceptable, tolerable, all that stuff, it saves future problems, right? And people not... It's funny because when I was younger, and I know it's hard, I'm never ever going to knock anybody in their 20s and 30s when you're just getting your footing and realizing who you are. It's very hard sometimes to set boundaries because you want to be a little people pleasery, because you want to be able to make new companions and friends and this and that. And it's a lesson yet to be learned for people in their 20s, right? That when we just yes people, they don't really know what we really like or what we really want. When we're people pleasing and we'll do things that we don't necessarily appeal to us just because we want to go with the flow, it doesn't help anybody as the end result, because people don't know what we really like or want to do. We are doing things that we don't necessarily love. We're spending time doing things we don't want to do, and you'll soon learn that time is a super precious commodity. And and later in life, it's like you'll have such a good time when you're by yourself, because you can do exactly what you want to do. And it's it's restorative too, because when we're in large groups, it can be very draining on us. So let's see what this is all about. A blessing on your ability to decide where you end and where others begin, on what you will do gladly and without regret, and what you cannot be compelled to do, for it would be against your own nature. Within this lifetime, there will be times when you are unsure of what's most important and what is best for you. Absolutely, in your youth, for sure. You will not be sure of why you wish to do something, and when it comes to others, especially others for whom you have strong feelings. It will be a challenge indeed to know what is best to do, and to know why we sometimes feel great misgivings when it comes to offering our time, our love, our money, and our gifts for another for their use. With this blessing comes a certainty that when the situation arises, you'll know the difference between what is best for you to do and what another wants you to do. May you be blessed with the sure ability to say no quietly and without apology to the boss who asks for too much, to the partner who asks you to put your own needs aside for theirs. May it now be clear to you when a friend fails to listen or reciprocate, and when you give without being given in return. May this blessing draw clearly the lines that mark your own emotional landscape, and make a map for who you are and where you end, so that you may know that others intrude on your space and mind, your heart and home, without invitation. With this blessing of boundaries, let there be respect and consultation and a renewed appreciation for your own needs and desires. May this blessing give you the power to close a door or to open a window, and to ask for help in return, and support yourself by beginning to respect and acknowledge what it is you need. And with blessings, these powers will now be yours. That's beautiful. And we do need to do that without chopping off the proverbial head, right? Yeah, that sets such clear indicators, what works for you and what doesn't, when we're just honest, you know what I mean? And sometimes we have to wait till that boundary is stepped over till we realize, hell, that's a boundary. You just stepped over, you know what I mean? We don't even necessarily know it's there because it had yet to occur. But once it does, you're like, yeah, I'm not so happy with that. I get that every once in a while with, let's just take a for instance of my business. Okay, it's like people going like, oh cool, Melanie will read our tarot, you know what I mean? When the new month or the new moon comes and somebody is like, one of my friends is like, I need this, I need that, or whatever, or somebody will ask one question and it'll turn into 10 questions, you know what I mean? Things like that, of people just being a little stepping over the thing, thinking that I have all the time in the world, which even though that's one of my mottos, I have all the time in the world. I have all the time in the world. If other people don't step over their boundaries and try to take that time, you know what I mean? But I have to set boundaries and say, oh, you know, I only had this amount of time to be able to figure this out for you, okay? Especially when I'm just doing it like through an email to help someone out quickly, because when I'm dealing with thousands and thousands of peoples and viewers, I could work from sun up to sundown and only get through, you know, a dozen if I didn't learn to have those boundaries of, listen, this time is portioned out for this and that. And you'll be able to do that as well. You know what I mean? And you need to do this with employers, especially because if you're always the yes person, yes, I'll come in if this person is sick. Yes, I'll do this, and you're seen as the yes person. Guess what? They then get a sense of entitlement that you should always say yes. It's very odd. Instead of the, no, thank you, this is my day off. So when you do say yes, it's appreciated. It's very funny how the world works like that. And I did this weird study and I thought it was crazy that sometimes people, they tend to more want to do you a favor if they've done you a smaller favor before. This is the weird thing, how it works out. The people think if they found you valuable enough to do a favor for, they're more likely to do you another one. It's very odd, you know what I mean? So if you ask them, you know, just something simple, it's very unique. There's all kinds of funny psychology behind it. But again, just letting people know, you know, your time is valuable and you're structured a certain way and you're not just giving things away, right? People, so they value it. So that's beautiful. And part of that is this energy that's coming with you, your high priestess. You're really, really in touch this month with your intuition and your spirit team, and you're really connecting because you're slowing down, you're focused, you're breathing, you're doing your little meditations, which could just be closing your eyes, listening to quiet music, grounding out, and creating a smooth path for the day when you wake up. And the way that I do that is the second I open my eyes, I start to feel my physicality. Like I notice my head on the pillow, my feet, and they're in their warm socks, all these things and all these feelings. And I feel balanced, happy, and warm. And again, I start my gratitude list right away. Oh, thank you for these warm covers and winter running around and being funny, and just all these things, you know, and that he gets to wake up and we can have a little morning conversation. It's fun before he goes to work, companionship, all those things. So when you start to have your gratitude and you say it out loud and you think it, you start to really align yourself with this beautiful high priestess energy of, wow, you know, that window of opportunity opens when we open the window of gratitude that says thank you, because more things really do come our way. And so you guys also, you're going to have like passion to embrace this month too. Love this, because the King of Wands is like the Queen of Wands, is passionate, forthright, and again, you only have to be in this lovely receivership energy, because this person is the person that is driven towards you. So now you're in that lovely yin state where you're like, well, let me see. You get to decide. It's like there's a menu in front of you. You're like, what do I like? You know, seriously, because now it's your time for choices. I feel like a lot of choices are coming into you because you're realizing your value by stepping up and stepping into your power and saying, I'm just not accepting, and I'm not taking scraps. I'm not a bird. I'm not eating crumbs. I'm not doing this. I am a very powerful individual when I put my mind to it, and I can basically do anything I want, and I can do it well because I'm taking the steps and educating myself to ensure the right results. That's what this energy is about. And this is a lovely balance on the other side. This is incredible energy for you guys, because with the Magician, you're super tapped and tuned into any of your clairs, if you have them, your clairaudience, your clairvoyance, all those things. And most people have them. They just haven't slowed down enough to connect to them or tried to seek out more information on it. Like a lot of people already decided, oh, that's just self-dialogue. That's inner dialogue. That's this, that's that. It's not. It's actually a different kind of sight, like a second sight. It's definitely extra sensory things that everybody has, because there's so much energy. You can just tap into that energy and read it. You know, it's a kind of your own private map, your own GPS into different understandings that go a little bit deeper under the surface. And it's a great ability to have, because you can really navigate some difficult waters with it, and you can improve your life as well as others very quickly when you can see the parameters, what's not working. It's almost like being able to be a human x-ray machine. Just say you know somebody's unwell and they may have a broken bone. It's almost like you can see right into that and see where that crack is, that fracture is, emotionally or otherwise, you know what I mean? And then when you slow down and you ask your spirit team or your guides and your inner self, which is your intuition, all to tap into that energy to find out a good resolution, a good result, and it just sort of drifts down to you and comes in your lap because you're very receptive to that. So fantastic energy for that, you guys. And now to complete your section, I am going to pull you your da, da, da. These are new Chinese oracle cards. So this is the horse energy, and I love it when you get these. You have a yin and a yang. If you flip it over on the other side, which I love, isn't that beautiful? Love these so much. So let's see what the horse energy has to say for that. I love Chinese zodiacs. I was saying on the other video that I remember just being a kid and going into this Chinese restaurant up the road in my hometown, and there being an animal zodiac map, and on the mat right in front of us, and I was like, what is this? That was like my introduction. I remember thinking, oh yeah, I like this stuff, because it had characteristics, and I was like, well, how would they know by our birthday? And I remember being quite young, but I thought it was so funny that I was a rooster, and I was like laughing my head off, and just because some of them sound like not appealing animals, like rats and pigs and things like that, right? So let's see, the horse energy. I mean, yeah, it was like a horse was so lovely, but I was like, who wanted to be a rat? And I didn't really think a rooster was all that great. So the sentence is, I can fly freely even without wings. Energetic, frank, enthusiastic, loyal, and unwilling to be constrained. The description says, when the horse gallops over the grassland, even the earth becomes a constraint. His heart has flown onto the air with the passionate, free red fairy, and gallops in a much wider world. Oh, I love that, because there's the red fairy hanging out with him, right? The positive meanings are enthusiastic, determined, brave, optimistic, and positive. Active meanings are be persevering and rely on the power of the team. Endurance decides how far away you can run. Oh, that's beautiful, right? The more independent, the more self-disciplined, and you act tactfully. That's beautiful energy, you guys. Yeah. Just think of that. Don't feel any restraints or restrictions. Just know, especially with this, you just have this beautiful multiplied strengths, intuition. You've definitely opened that window and poked your head out and realized, whoa, the horizon is like endless. The opportunities are endless. My gifts, if I choose to study and expand them, is a quite simple method. And you get very driven towards learning this month. You definitely want to know about some esoteric and beautiful spiritual learning, because you're receiving downgrades and you're like, wow, why do I have this ringing in my ears constantly? Why am I seeing all these synchronistic numbers, billboards, all this stuff going on, the same animals? People are getting in touch with me shortly after I think about them. I'm seeing funny series of things. It's very, very weird. Yeah, I forget what it was I saw. It'll come back to me and I'll share. But I saw a license plate. I was just telling somebody, be aware of the number 5. It had particular meaning to this person. And horses. Then when I got out and drove the car, right after that, there was a license plate and it said 5 equine. And I was like, oh my God, Hagen, take a picture of that. And he's like, why? I'm like, I'll tell you later. I got to try. But I was like, just in shock, because it was all about the number 5 in horses. And the first bumper sticker I saw was 5 equine. And I was like, wow. So there is all these things that are, they seem inexplicable, but they're simply just how the energy and messages work. And you're really going to be tapped into that. So I'm excited for you guys. Wonderful. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. And don't forget to press like and subscribe, and the notification bell, which is right below, so you'll know when all the new videos come up. The little gray arrow on the bottom right under the video will bring you down to all my links for private reads, for my Instantgo account, so I can do quick reads for you within an hour or two. My Etsy page, so you can see all the beautiful sparklies and things that I make there with the natural stones, and basically everything. My Patreon page. Come over and say hello and see what's going on there. It helps support the channel. And thank you, patrons. I can't tell you how much I really appreciate you guys for help keeping the channel up and running. It's so wonderful to have you guys. You're a great little tribe, and I really appreciate you guys more than I can even say. And also, if you haven't seen the other links too, this lovely company right here, Goddess Provisions, I just started being a brand ambassador for. Although I don't get paid by them, if you go to their link below and you make a purchase off that link, I get a small percentage. It helps run the channel, and they're really, really great. I mean, it's body, mind, and soul stuff. And if you go to my last video that's titled Divine Union headed your way. There's actually an unboxing on that, and you can see all the stuff on there. But you can, you'll be able to see when you hit the link below everything that comes in there: the crystals, the oracle cards, the cool aromatherapy sprays, and the tinctures made with special crystal waters. Just really amazing stuff. I'm so impressed by them. They're very ethical and vegan products. Just really great. I'm impressed, and the reason that I'm so blown away by this whole union is that I had a client that asked, oh, Melanie, can you put me together some of your rocks and crystals for writer's block and this and that and some other things that could go with it. And I was able to do this one particular thing and email it to them and mail it to them through my Etsy store. But I was like, it can be very time consuming. And I thought, wow, I wish these people had some products like that, or a service that did that. And I'm not kidding you, within 48 hours, Goddess Provisions had emailed me, and I was like, this is really, really amazing synchronicity, because it is that would be something I would love to provide for you guys, because it's so cool, and it's everybody's sort of in their wheelhouse that watch these things, and you viewers and stuff that we all like, the stones and the lovely emollients and good scents and candles and all that stuff, and oracle cards. I was like, wow, talk about timing. So that was fantastic. So yeah, really, really, look at my little Buddha. Really get connected and with this divine energy you have flowing all around you, because you're going to have some miraculous things happen this month. And, it's well deserved. You guys put the work in. You want what's best for the collective, yourself, your family, and everything. And so now, of course, why wouldn't it start rolling in accordance with who you are and start bearing fruit for you, right? So wonderful, wonderful. That's you guys. Have a great February.